So switching to English, Jason, you're back, and you're back from a Swedish fika as well. So I hope you have the new energy from a cinnamon bun. So the coordinator of COALESCE, as we mentioned in the beginning of this day, the EU Competence Centre for Science Communication, please take us into the center, the heart of the center, and tell us more about what you're doing.
Yeah.
Please, the stage is yours.
Happy to do so. Thank you. I clicked through a few slides, but I do only want to take a couple of minutes to make sure that you're all aware of COALESCE. This is a project, but the project should not end when the funding ends. As you can see, we will end in March 2027, according to the EU, but we will not end in terms of spirit and where we want to go, because the goal here is to build together, and I need to be very clear. That we are building it together. It is a project with 13 partners. I help co-lead it with our colleagues from Science for Change in Barcelona. But in order to do science communication well and effectively, we need to learn from each other, we need to grow together, and we need to continue encouraging each other. You know, I am catching little bits and pieces. My Swedish is just not up to where it should be. However, it's really lovely to see all of you actually cross-connecting, talking, learning, and dealing with critical issues. So I will just go through some of the key things that we are trying to do. And basically highlight what the EU has put for us, because we volunteered for this, but we also, you know, sort of bid for it and said we want to do this. And part of the way we have oriented ourselves is thinking cross-collaboratively with many different institutions. So we do want to be a center that provides a set of resources to everyone to actually make sure that we are able to respond rapidly. Part of where this came from, of course, was in response to COVID and the pandemic. The Competence Centre itself has a big goal, which is to become a main reference center. It isn't to compete, but it is to say, here is a place where things that are useful for science communicators to use can have a key reference point to come back to and say, here are the tools, the things that we can learn from and use. And frankly, that needs you all to contribute as well. It means that we say, hey, here are the things that we are doing, that you all are doing in Sweden, in my country, in the Netherlands, in Spain, and Italy, across the EU, because I think we are better together as science communicators than we are separated in our own countries. And of course, culturally distinct. We need to say, this works here, but it doesn't work in this place. But it doesn't mean that we can't think about this, learn from each other in terms of tools, resources, cross-connections, trainings, those sorts of things. So our mission is to consolidate this, is to bring these pieces together, and we're doing that through a platform. You can see that we have the EU Competence Centre, or the EU Science Centre, SciCompCenter.eu. You can see that it's present. We had a soft launch of the platform last September. And I say soft launch because at this point it's not fully interactive. I will mention the things that we do have. We do have this centralized virtual platform. It connects with our national and regional hubs. I'll get to that in just a moment. It is trying to help us do some standards and principles. We have these on the platform already, but they're a bit static. I will admit that right up front. This is also something that we are growing together, because the next step is, as we build over the next few months into making more interactive platforms, to have this library of resources, to use our Enjoy observatory. Enjoy is one of our predecessor projects. Literally a few moments ago, I was talking about here in Sweden, you do have this great resource of matching, connecting journalists and scientists. That's not something that's available. It's not in the Netherlands. It's certainly not available everywhere in Europe. And we want to think and learn with you, how do we provide a matchmaking tool to help increase those resources, and to think about policy. And then by the end, we will be launching a full academy, again, a series of trainings that aren't necessarily all our own. Again, I need to be clear, the goal of COALESCE, the goal of the Science Competence Centre is sort of a clearinghouse idea. Here is a place where you can go and that then we send to different points to help refer to the best practices, the most ideal processes. I will skip a little bit ahead because, of course, this is too many slides to do in a short amount of time, but we are bringing together both a virtual platform and a network of physical hubs. And I just mentioned that the next set of hubs has been announced, that we are in the process there of doing these different national and regional hubs, and then I will show you this slide with all of these hubs here, which are across Europe. Missing in action, but only because it was done before this past week, when we have basically made an agreement. We are working on the Memorandum of Understanding with, I won't try the Swedish name, but with this organization here, Science in Public, and thanks to Maria Harkart, who's been working with us to become a hub as part of COALESCE, and that's something that we will be working with them to share how do we do this and how do we cross-connect, because they will be the key reference point for Sweden. So, briefly, we are also bringing a whole bunch of previous projects together to make this happen. And here's a lovely picture of all the wonderful people who are hard at work behind the scenes, aside from many, many others, besides these people that happen to join us. The team itself, of course, is made up of a number of universities and small and medium enterprises. But the invitation is open because, of course, this is a growing project. It is something that is still in process. And we invite you to join with us, to participate with us. And of course, we will hear more about that, especially in relation to our Swedish hub. So thank you for the time and thank you for your attention to this project.
Perfect. Thank you, Jason.
You're welcome.
So the potential for Swedish science communications to be members, that is if we have a hub here.
You have a hub. So
we have a hub.
That is sort of what I'm trying to say is publicly that we have made an agreement with.
Oh, so the agreement is there.
The agreement is there, or at least the application, the process is there, and then of course we are putting the nice little fine details on what does this mean and how do we actually cross-connect. But you have a hub in Science and Public. I'm not going to pronounce the Swedish name.
No, it's fine. But so next time you're doing presentations in Sweden,
you will be on that list. It will just keep growing.
Okay,
yes.
That sounds safe. That sounds safe.
Yeah.
Super.
Thank you.
Excellent. Thank you so much for both of your presentations today and setting the stage for the next panel as well.
Perfect.
Much valuable. Thank you so much.
All right. Thank you.